Okay, so we have to talk about something. I wanted the first video to this channel to be kind of a funny video to intro everything else I'm going to do that involves LittleBigPlanet 3 because I've been a creator since LittleBigPlanet 1 and I want to start talking to people and start showing people what's possible with the creation tools and how to do that, because you see all these levels online, you see how crazy they are, and you get really excited, and then you think, oh, how the hell can I do this? It takes too much time, and I don't have the time to decorate everything and make it look gorgeous. So we're going to get to that. But first, I have to talk about the reviews of LittleBigPlanet 3. We're going to talk about IGN in particular, but this is not the only company that has completely botched the reviews of this game, because GameSpot is also guilty of this with their 7.0. But we're going to focus on IGN because of the amount of BS that went into the review that it gave. Okay, so LittleBigPlanet 3 on IGN right now has a 6.3. To put that into perspective, LittleBigPlanet 2 got a 9.0. So why did they give this game such a low score? The two reasons they gave on the video review were the glitches and the lack of multiplayer elements. Now, I'm going to talk about each real quick and why it either works or doesn't work as a criticism. The glitches are definitely there and they need to be talked about because there are loading screens that get stuck. There are times I've fallen out of levels, which has never happened to me before in LittleBigPlanet 1 or LittleBigPlanet 2, but it happens in this, and it's happened twice in the last day that I've been playing the game. And there are times when I've completed a level and the next level will not unlock unless I go back to that level and do it again. And this is game breaking to a certain extent. Like, it's not going to stop you from continuing the game because there are workarounds, and if you play around for more than 2 minutes, you can fix it and you can keep going. It's just the fact that it exists and it takes time, and there are glitches there that will foreclose your game for a few minutes, and you have to restart and play another level first before you can play that one. So LittleBigPlanet has always been made to be played by one person but been accessible by 2, 3, and 4 players and been given elements that are specifically meant for those 2, 3, and 4 players. Anybody that has played the last few games will understand that there are times when playing with 2, 3, or 4 people is incredibly difficult, and that's because it's a co-op game. You need to cooperate to keep moving forward, and you can't have that one friend or that one person you're playing with online that's a total ass and keeps running ahead of everybody else. But their criticism of the lack of multiplayer elements has to do with the implementation of odd sock, toggle, and swoop. What they say is that the 3 characters aren't used effectively together, like one person playing as swoop, one person playing as odd sock, and one person playing as toggle. Now, they mention the one level where this does come into play and where it's implemented incredibly well, but they say they don't do that enough. If this is a criticism, they should have mentioned this in LittleBigPlanet 2, when there were times that playing with 2, 3, and 4 people was more difficult than playing with one person, and the game wasn't designed with multiplayer in mind, but it wasn't designed specifically and only for multiplayer. The problem here is that they can't make levels that only require 2, 3, and 4 players, because it's just not going to work, because then all of that creation goes to waste for people that are playing with it with 1 person or 2 people for the 3 and 4 player levels. And they just can't spend that much time doing that, because they could spend the time doing stuff that's accessible by 1, 2, 3, and 4 players at the same time, which are the normal story levels. Now, this isn't to say that they don't have great multiplayer elements in this. If you play co-op, once you get through a task together, it's so much more rewarding than doing it by yourself, and it's so much more fun because you have the element of people killing each other, of people slapping each other off cliffs. So the lack of multiplayer elements, there isn't a lack. There is multiplayer, and it's wonderful, and it's so much fun, and if this reviewer had taken the time to play a decent amount of multiplayer, very little of which was actually shown in the review video, then maybe they would have gotten over this criticism entirely. So let's talk about what's improved since LittleBigPlanet 2 got a 9.0 on IGN. First are the 3 new characters, Toggle, Oddsock, and Swoop. So all 3 of these characters are implemented wonderfully, and they all have very different strengths, and all the levels that you play specifically with them, and the sections that you play in later levels when you're playing with all of them, are done fantastically, and they're very different from each other because they play to the strengths of each of the new characters. One of the things they mentioned in the review, didn't really mention it as a main criticism, but did mention it in passing, I suppose, was the fact that these 3 characters were underused in the story mode. A lot of this has to do with the fact that Sackboy now has so many new power-ups due to the power-up creator. Now, this is a huge plus for the game because the sections with Sackboy are so much more fun than they were in past games, with the new things like the teleporting hat, I forget what it's called, and the hook hat. And there's just so many new gameplay elements that each of these power-ups make Sackboy feel like a new kind of character, even though he still has the floaty jumps that we've all come to love and hate. But this power-up creator offers so much opportunity for people playing in the future to just continue to create 2D platformers if they wish to do that. Now, if they don't, and this is something they completely gloss over in the review, there are now 16 layers in the game, 13 more than we've ever had before, and this is incredible. For 2 reasons. One, levels actually have depth now. Like, you can literally play an entire level in an 8x8 screen, a good, like, 10-minute long level, that goes layer by layer by layer to the back as opposed to side to side. In addition, this allows for full 3D platforming, adventuring, RPGing, anything that the creators want to do in the future, because there are 16 layers, and your character can be controlled from top down. So say if it's being controlled from top down, that means the 16 layers are below or above the character as opposed to the left and the right and the top and the bottom. So this just offers so much opportunity, and they don't talk about anything. They don't talk about the levels in the story mode where this is implemented, where it's used perfectly, and where it encourages the community to do the same. And there's just so much potential with this game, and even completely ignoring the potential, it's leaps and bounds above what LittleBigPlanet 2 was, even in just the story mode. I've played with a few people, and each person who's played LittleBigPlanet 2 and LittleBigPlanet 1 with me has told me that it is so much more fun to play than the past games, and we haven't even gotten into the community levels yet. I know this is fast, I know there's a lot in this video. I just want to say that LittleBigPlanet 3 is fantastic. If you've been thinking about picking it up, pick it up. It's a fantastic game. You're going to play through the story and actually enjoy it, whereas in past games I've gotten bored halfway through and gone back for the sake of nostalgia. But there's just so much potential for what it's going to become that it's going to have a longer life than LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2 ever had, even though people were still playing them up until October before this game came out. So, last but not least, I promise that on future things I will post stupid videos of me and my friends dicking around and having no idea how to play the new LittleBigPlanet because of all the new characters and all of the changes. So those will be up soon, and obviously I plan on posting some League of Legends because, you know, anybody that plays League of Legends has to post videos of them being terrible at League of Legends. So that will be up. Maybe some Call of Duty, maybe some Minecraft. We'll talk about it soon. For a quick introduction before I leave, my name is Sockbot, and I will see you soon. Bye.